All right, today we're going to dive deep into one of the most confusing and honestly most painful patterns in human relationships. It's a pattern that can make you feel like you're completely trapped in a maze with no exit, this constant push and pull that just seems to defy all logic and leaves everyone feeling hurt and confused. So let's unpack what's really going on here. Just let that sink in for a moment. That sentence right there, it captures the devastating paradox at the very heart of what we call disorganized attachment. It's a survival contradiction. The one person you rely on for safety is the exact same person your nervous system is screaming is a threat. How is that even possible? Well, in this explainer, we're going to map out exactly why this internal chaos happens, and more importantly, how you can start the journey to unify that fragmented part of yourself.
So here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll tackle that core contradiction, the safety terror paradox. Then we'll step onto the internal battlefield to see what it actually feels like. We're going to map the chaos loop that keeps it all going, and then uncover the unwritten story behind it all. And finally, the most important part, we'll lay out a real, actionable path to forge a new way forward and become the author of your own story.
Okay, first things first, and this is absolutely crucial to get. This is not a personality flaw, it's not some defect in your character, it is a deep-seated survival strategy that because of some really confusing early experiences, just got scrambled. It's a strategy that made perfect sense in an environment that didn't. It was your brain's best shot at surviving an impossible situation.
Really think about that question. Normally, our brains have two pretty simple settings for safety, right? We either move toward connection when we feel safe, or we move away from threat when we feel danger. Clear paths. But what happens when your brain was taught that the source of safety is also the source of danger? It learns to do both at the exact same time. The result is just a complete system failure. It's a total loss of an organized strategy, and that leads to chaos, both inside and out.
So let's talk about what this internal battlefield actually feels like day to day. Because for the person living it, this isn't some abstract theory. It is a brutal reality. It's this gut-wrenching emotional whiplash. You have this intense, desperate longing for intimacy. And then, seemingly out of nowhere, it gets replaced by this terrifying urge to burn it all down, to push that same person away with a shocking intensity.
And this, right here, this is the tug-of-war happening inside your brain. You have two of the most powerful survival systems we have, and they are firing at the exact same time, in total opposition. You've got the anxious attachment system screaming, "Get closer, I need this connection to feel safe." And at the same time, the avoidant threat detection system is screaming, "Danger, back up, closeness is a trap, get away." And the brain is just stuck in the middle, with no way to solve that impossible math problem. And this is what that internal war looks like on the outside. The behavior seems totally erratic because the brain, unable to pick one path, just tries to do both. So you get this intense need for intimacy, and then bam, sudden explosive rage. Or maybe dissociation, where you just emotionally check out. You go numb just to escape the noise inside. It's terrifying for the person experiencing it, and it's completely bewildering for their partner, which of course just wears away at the trust in the relationship.
So where does all this come from? It all stems from something called your internal working model, or IWM. The easiest way to think about it is like it's the brain's core rulebook for relationships. Now, for most of us, that rulebook is fairly consistent, but with disorganized attachment, the rulebook itself is just broken. Imagine a blueprint for a house where on page 1 it says, build the foundation with solid steel, and right below it, build the foundation with wet sand. The whole structure is designed for chaos. It has two rules that can't coexist. Love is how you survive, and love is the most dangerous thing in the world.
So how does this broken rulebook create such a predictable, repeating pattern of self-sabotage? Well, we can actually map it out. And this is so important because this isn't random, it's a loop. And once you can see the map of the loop, you stop being a prisoner of it. You can start to find the off-ramp.
Okay, let's walk through this loop. It all kicks off with step 1, the proximity trigger. This can be anything that signals intimacy is getting deeper. A vulnerable talk, a partner saying I love you, even just a quiet moment of real connection. That trigger doesn't just activate one system, it activates both the deep need and the deep fear. This sends you straight into step 2, limbic overwhelm. Your brain's emotional center, your limbic system, just gets flooded with contradictory signals. The amygdala, your little alarm bell, is screaming safe and danger at the same time. The whole system just shorts out. Now, this intense stress causes the brain's CEO to take an emergency leave of absence. That's step 3, PFC deactivation. Your prefrontal cortex, the part that handles logic, reason, and self-control, goes completely offline. The captain has left the bridge in the middle of a hurricane. And with no one at the helm, you get step 4, chaotic, oscillating behavior. The brain just defaults to its most primitive, contradictory commands. This is where you see the lightning-fast swings, from please don't leave me to get away from me in a split second. And finally, the trap snaps shut with step 5, reinforcement of chaos. Your partner, understandably, reacts with confusion or hurt, or maybe they pull away. And your brain's broken rulebook reads that reaction as proof. See, I told you so. Relationships are unsafe. And with that, the core belief is confirmed, the cycle is locked in, ready to go all over again.
So we've seen the what and the how of the loop, but now we have to go deeper to the why. Why does this system even exist? Well, the answer is hidden in an unwritten, unintegrated story. The chaos you see on the surface, that's not the real problem. It's a symptom of a story the mind is desperately trying not to tell itself.
And this is it. This is the unbearable truth at the center of everything. To a little kid, a caregiver is their entire universe. They are survival. So when that source of safety is also a source of deep fear, whether it's from trauma, neglect, whatever, a child's brain simply cannot compute that. It can't put those two things together. To do so would feel like it would shatter them. So the brain does the only thing it can to survive. It splits the experience in two. It builds a wall. And that chaotic behavior in adulthood, it's an unconscious strategy to keep that wall standing.
And here's why it is so incredibly hard to stop the cycle when you're in it. The sheer mental energy it takes to manage this constant internal war is enormous. It eats up all your cognitive resources. And that prevents you from using a skill called metacognition, which is basically just the ability to step back and observe your own thoughts and feelings. You can't reflect on the storm when you're just trying to survive it. It feels like you're just a passenger in your own body watching this all happen, which is just a profoundly lonely and terrifying place to be.
Okay, I know that all sounds really heavy, but here is the hopeful part. The whole point of having the map is so that you can draw a new route. Your brain can and does change. So now we're going to pivot from the problem to the solutions, real, science-backed tools for change. This is about forging a new path forward, one step at a time.
The path to healing can really be broken down into 3 core steps. Step 1. You have to learn to identify the split in the moment, to recognize that feeling of being pulled in 2 opposite directions. Step 2. You implement a structural pause to slam the brakes on the chaotic swing. And step 3 is where you begin the long-term work of practicing narrative integration, which is all about building a new, coherent internal story.
Let's really focus on step 2, because this is your emergency brake. This is the circuit breaker. The structural pause is a non-negotiable promise you make to yourself. The second you feel that familiar internal chaos start to bubble up, you stop. You don't act, you don't speak. Instead, you immediately do something physical to calm your overloaded nervous system. This is called vagal nerve activation. We're talking deep, slow breaths, holding a piece of ice, even just doing some quick jumping jacks. These things send a powerful signal to your brain that says, hey, you are safe, right here, right now. It's what gets your thinking brain to come back online.
And once you're calm, you can move to step 3, which looks a lot like this. This is narrative integration. This is where you start to consciously connect the dots for your brain. You acknowledge the old story, the past fact. You say, I feel that old terror of rejection right now. You validate it. Then you immediately connect it to what's true today, the present fact. But my current partner is reliable and safe. Doing this, linking the past feeling to the present reality over and over and over, that is what slowly builds a new, unified story inside you. And this brings us to the most important point of all. This whole process, this isn't just about managing symptoms, it's about fundamentally changing your relationship with yourself. It's about shifting from being a character who's just thrown around in an old, painful story to becoming the author of a new one. It's about finally taking back the pen.
If you take only one thing away from our time together today, please let it be this. Your chaos is not a flaw. You are not broken. It is the logical, predictable outcome of a nervous system that got 2 impossible instructions for how to survive. It's the war between your biological need for love and your deeply learned fear of it. Healing isn't about defeating the chaos, it's about understanding it with compassion and creating enough internal safety for those 2 warring parts of you to finally make peace.
Ultimately, healing is an act of profound self-compassion. It's about looking at all the fractured pieces of yourself and understanding that every single one was created to help you survive. The work is to gently bring those pieces together, to integrate the fear with the need, the past with the present. The greatest act of love isn't something you find out there. It's something you create in here. It's finally giving yourself the single, coherent, and compassionate story you always deserved.